Hello, hi, it's Liz again. Welcome to my channel, The Long Road Home. Um, so, hope you're having a beautiful day and your life is going better. And I hope you've been watching. And yeah, I know everyone is supposed to say, please like and subscribe, but you know what? I'm not doing this for the likes and the subscribes. I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing this because I was guided by Spirit to do it. They kept saying, answer the call. So here I am. I'm answering the call. And I look very pasty white, so I'm going to turn the brightness down just a little. So you're going to see it change a little here. Oh, now the background's all white. Okay. Never mind. We're just going to leave it alone. And as you can tell, these aren't exactly professionally done. This is more like a log. What do they call those? A vlog. It's more like a vlog. But yeah, it's for those to understand and learn about rising above, about waking up. This is my awakening journey. I'm glad you're here, and I hope these feel like conversations and that you get something from them. You get a sense of camaraderie, that you're not alone, you're not the only one, and that there is hope. There is hope at the end. You just have to keep hanging on, keep going forward. There is hope, okay? I guess I better look in the camera, huh? I keep not doing that. I keep looking down because I'm looking at my face. Okay, so here I am. I'm going to stare at the camera. Anyway, I wanted to continue on sharing. I had left off talking a little bit about my daughter, about all the problems I had with her diagnosis of ADHD, and not really sure, but dyslexia. You know, and they thought there were a few other things in there, but they couldn't pinpoint anything. She was just my special little child. She was my miracle baby. And even though it's been hard raising her alone, and even though it's been a struggle, and my God, it was chaotic. I wanted to go out on the town and throw a party when she graduated high school, because I'm like, oh, thank God, I'm done with the school system. But yeah, it was on the heels of everything else, of everything exploding in my life. I get told that my daughter, she has learning disabilities. And the funny part was that the only time her and I ever had disagreements, ever didn't get along, was during the school year. And all they wanted to do was medicate her, and I refused. Do not medicate your child. All right? Deal with it. I swear, I know it's hard. I know it's hard. People say, oh, you don't know. Yes, I do know. I do understand. I do understand the frustration. All the endless pressures from the teachers. They just want to shove them away. That was their solution. They just wanted to shove her into a special ed class with all the little kids that eat paste. No. No, 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 no. My daughter is intelligent. My daughter can rise above this if you take the time. And, like I said before, I had given them packets. I would give them, I mean, as they got older, like as she started to move into high school, I stopped doing that because I'm like, well, this is a waste. And the move to high school actually seemed to help. Actually, she seemed to like that. And she would get bullied, at her junior high. I would tell them, I say, she's having problems. She's being bullied. And she liked to color her hair. She had purple hair and pink hair sometimes. She was cute. She loved it. And even I like to color my hair. I don't do it anymore, but I always had red hair. I love red hair. So I would color my hair. Sometimes I would, put different streaks of different colors in it just to spice it up a little bit. But I didn't see anything wrong with it. It was fun, and it was a nice expression. And she wasn't outrageous or ridiculous or anything like that. She was just happy. Well, unless she was in school. Because the bullying was endless. And they didn't do anything about it. One day, I went up there, and this got me in trouble. I went up there, and I was late. I had gotten off late. Okay. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm coming. I really hated to make her be late. I hated it. I hated it when she had to take the bus home. I hated that. She'd have to catch the MTA home to her home. Um, but I came up there and I pull in and I'm coming up alongside there. And all of a sudden I hear the horriblest things coming out of these two boys' mouths. They were just saying all kinds of awful things. And I rounded that corner and they were saying those things to my daughter. And by God, I went off. I absolutely went off. I was ready to rip them a new one. And I told them if they ever spoke that way to my daughter again, that I would do things, unspeakable things to them. And I meant it. I meant it. And we left. And they were... and they went and told their moms, and their moms came and told the school. And the school came in there and said, you can't do that. And I said, bullshit. Why don't you tell those parents that they need to teach their children some manners? The things out of their mouths were absolutely filthy and disgusting. Just plain disgusting. I said, is that the kind of children that you allow here? Is it okay that they're raised that way? And I swear to God, parents today, it's just like, teach your kids some manners. For the love of God, teach your kids some manners, because there's going to be someone like me that comes along and we're going to teach them manners. And it's not going to be pretty. But you know what? I told them, I said, they have a problem, they can come talk to me. And I told them where I lived. I told them they could come talk to me and we would have words. And they weren't going to be good words. And, wow. You just can't do that. Yeah, I can. I have every right to defend my child. I am not going to come up there and let some other kid brutalize my daughter. No, these are boys. These are young men. And this is how they treat women? No, I wasn't going to have it. And that caused a whole lot of more problems. And I didn't care. I was going to stick up for my daughter. And I told my daughter, I said, don't start fights. But if you get in a fight, finish it. And she did. She started standing up for herself more and more after that moment. And things improved for her. But this whole thing about, no, you can't send little Johnny to school and expect him to fight back if he's being bullied, is BS. No. No. And don't come crying to me if your kids get a slap down. That was my attitude. Don't you cry to me. You're not building good character in your daughter or your son or whoever when you allow them to do those things. Shame on you. But yeah, that was a struggle. The whole thing was a struggle. Our school systems are so broken. They're still broken. They're very broken. But the teacher, also the principal, this was the principal I spoke to, mind you. Because I was telling her, why are you allowing them to bully? And she goes, well, she does dye her hair purple. Really? My kid deciding to dye her hair purple is grounds for everyone making fun of her and bullying her? I don't think so. Oh, I tore that woman a new one. I was for sure she was going to call the cops on me. And I'm like, yeah, I don't care. I do not care. I am not letting you step all over me or my daughter. And sometimes that's what you have to do. You have to stick up for yourself. Especially now. The school systems are a mess. This was back in, early 2000s. It's not gotten any better. It just has not gotten better. It's, people, raise your damn kids. Raise them with some manners. Please, thank you. Excuse me. Instead of these, I don't even know what they are. Predators. They're predators. That's all I can say. You're raising predators. But do better. Do better. Anyway. That was a trial. That was a trial. I didn't think that would ever end. I eventually took her out of school the last couple years of her high school. Um, and my God, she just blossomed. When I started teaching her at home, she got so much better. She was doing terrible on her basic skills tests, right? But there was a 30% improvement when I took her out and started teaching her myself. That was the best thing ever that could have happened to her. And she did have a class or two. So, because I wanted her to still to be able to socialize. So, But during that whole time, I was silently falling apart while trying to keep everything together. In 2008, we had that recession, and I couldn't get temp work anywhere. Couldn't find a job, and we were just living off of my benefits, my husband's benefits. And that's when I became addicted to gaming. Yep. I got lost in the world of gaming, and I started spending more and more time, especially now that I didn't have a job, online. And that was the worst thing ever. I got lost in a world, of pixels. I started ignoring my real world, my real life. Things just kind of went downhill. I was still trying to keep things together for my daughter, trying to deal with that. I was still grieving. I was lonely, and I was bored with my life. All the dreams that I'd had, I wanted to be an artist and a writer, and I did try. I wrote 3 books that didn't do well. But it was just so difficult to get into the publishing world. It's hard. I mean, it's easier now, but back then, trying to find an agent, trying to get someone to represent you, and I kept trying. I was writing and writing and writing. I would get into little things, little publications here and there, but nothing. Just nothing. I just gave up. I'm like, I give up. I got lost in that world, that digital world, and I'm just like, forget it. I got lost in Second Life, Age of Conan online, and I had a few digital relationships that went nowhere, of course. That was my extent of my next line of dating, was digital. It was safe. If I didn't want to be bothered, I didn't have to log on. Matter of fact, I even made alt accounts to avoid people. That's terrible, isn't it? But yeah. Those next few years just went by in a blur. Of depression, avoidance. I had crashed. I was crashing and burning hard. Just crashing and burning. All over the place. And I was losing myself. I was slowly losing myself. And in 2007, before the crash, I had been diagnosed with diabetes. That was a terrible blow. But it did motivate me to start eating better. Well, not eating at all, really. I just, avoided the really bad foods, and I lost a lot of weight. I was up to 326 pounds. But, but over the years, I just, I've lost nearly 100 pounds. So, yay me. And I've also changed my diet a lot. But it ages you. Having diabetes, not having a life, sorrow, pain. And I stopped looking. I stopped asking. It was a full stop. I had come to a full stop. The light was dying. I was dying inside. In an effort to salvage things, I went and got on antidepressants. And in 2010, I decided to go back to school to finish my college degree. Um, I was working, I think I was working at the college part-time, homeschooling my daughter and taking online classes to finish my degree. And I did it. I was very proud of that. It was a 2-year AA degree, Associate in Arts, so nothing huge, but it was a degree and a lot of debt. I'm still drowning in student loan debt, so that's been years. And it still hasn't gone down. It's insane. I can't pay on it, but it's still insane. So then 2013 comes, and I decide to continue my education. And 2011, I decide to go into web design and design and web development. Excuse me. And I thought, I got it going on. I'm finally getting my together, my ish together. We'll say my ish together for that word. Trying to keep it clean. I do have a potty mouth still. And, a little bit of hope came back. My daughter was doing better. She enrolled in college to get a degree. And so did I. We both enrolled. I was doing it part-time. She was doing full-time mostly, but it was hard for her. Then I was spending a lot of time with her, helping her with anything that she needed. That was not easy. Boy, that was not easy. Having to help her through classes. But I did get my web development degree. But sadly, I think it was like 2 semesters before I graduated, I noticed that I was having difficulty seeing. The screen was looking blurry. I'm like, well, I should probably go see the eye doctor. Get a different prescription. I even had one class that I had to take again because I just couldn't see. I couldn't see the screen. I couldn't see what he was talking about. And I kept telling him, I can't see. I'll go to the doctor. Okay. I went to the doctor and I found out that I had macular degeneration. And that curbed my screen time. But I did finish the degree, barely, because the last semester, my final semester, they decided to cut my funding. And then I'm like, this is my last semester. So then I ended up having to, go back and, get work. I was only working part-time and going to school and living off the funds and everything and juggling it like that and, dealing with my daughter going to school too. And then they cut my funding. And I failed out of a class that last semester because I had to work. Because, I've got to support myself and my family. And we weren't getting any more help, death benefits, because that does end at, her at 18 and me, or at 16 mine ends, and 18 hers ended. So here we are, not knowing what to do, told that, the degree I worked really hard on to get was not going to be useless because I couldn't even see the screen anymore. I wouldn't be able to work on the computer anymore. I still can't. I would love to do web design and stuff, but it's painful. It's hard for me to see. And if I spend too much time on it, my eyes literally cross. I had to have surgery too, because it got so bad that I had to drive like this with one eye closed, because if I had both eyes open, I was seeing double in spots. And it was impossible at night, And then, at first I thought, well, it's okay. My daughter can take over driving. But then we went camping on her birthday. And I said they could go. She was already driving. She already had her learner's permit and everything. We just didn't have the money to pay to get her driver's license. Okay, we were kind of down and out. But that's what we were going to do next. Like, okay, but it'll be okay. She's just going to go pick up some sticks. That's all she was doing. She was in the park picking up wood. And the ranger stopped her. gave her a ticket, said, oh, don't worry, I won't tell anybody. And he did. He ended up telling him she lost her ability to drive. So then I ended up having to drive. I was really mad. I was just so furious. She wasn't breaking any, she wasn't doing anything illegal. Okay, I know she's not supposed to drive without somebody else in the car. But she wasn't doing anything illegal. She was a wonderful driver. And she was going 5-10 miles an hour in the park, picking up sticks. At what point is that horrible? So then she ended up not being able to get her license for a while, which meant I had to drive. And I thought to myself, can it get any worse? But guess what? It can, and it did. But have hope, have faith. Remember, I love you, and I hope you have a beautiful day, and I will see you in the next video. Love, peace, and blessings to you all.